It's a gorgeous day in Liverpool. We've decided we'll come outside. I hope you can see behind us. It's absolutely blue skies everywhere, so there might be a bit of background noise because there's always something going on out here. But we wanted to get outside. It is gorgeous, isn't it?
It is gorgeous, yeah.
I love a strong autumn day. By the way,
climate change for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's working.
Make the most of it.
On similar sort of matters, I just want to make it aware that I have resigned from the government, Paul.
Okay.
That's done. It's with deep regret, and everyone involved's got my utmost respect. But
well,
I packed in. I might resign from Talking Reds by the end of this.
You've got to do what you've got to do, haven't you? You've got to stand with your principles
at these difficult times.
Yeah.
So this is Neil Atkinson and Paul Cope working out whether or not we should have a people's vote, a general election, a deal or no deal with the internet on this one, because Achterberg is back in the news.
Do you mean deal or no deal?
Like the no Lemons thing?
No Lemons.
Yeah, it'd be
great. Should we do that to sort out Brexit?
It'd probably be quicker.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, like 15 different boxes. This one's Canada plus. This one's EEA minus. Do you want to stick with that one?
What an idea. Noel, if you're watching,
yeah.
if you could sort that out.
Well, Noel is sufficiently mad to do that sort of thing. Anyway, the internet is in uproar as Liverpool's goalkeeper Alisson Becker has praised John Achterberg overnight. This is all available via Football Flash. He says this: John has proved to be not just a great goalkeeping coach, but a great guy, a great person. Since I've arrived, I've noticed he's loved here by all. He leaves me very calm and relaxed on a day-to-day basis, and we learn from each other's work. I've pointed out some areas that contribute to his work, and likewise he has helped me with things I can improve on the pitch. He's, Alisson's nailed his colours to the Achterberg mast, and 10 years of internet discussion is suddenly finds itself at a real fork in the road, I'd say, Paul.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't know. I'm guessing he doesn't know what he started here, does he?
Maybe he does, and he's just decided, let's have a bit.
Let's get stuck in.
Yeah.
I've heard some stuff about Alisson in his private life lately, which might tie into this. Might tie into he's got a bit of needle.
Yeah, he's going to come out next week and say that Henderson's a better captain than Gerrard ever was.
Yeah.
It's his next move.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea, by the way.
Yep.
I might back that. I've hinted at things like that in the past, and just with my sort of tiny reach into the world of the internet, it's caused a bit of a stir.
Yeah.
So I can imagine I love this when people are conflicted with what they think about anything, because Alisson is a saviour now.
Yep.
I was chatting at the match the other day. I love it when Alisson or Van Dijk makes any mistake and no one even bats an eyelid. Alisson dropped a shot, hit straight at him the other day, and no one around me said anything. It wasn't even like, ooh.
Yeah, no,
nothing. It was like it never happened. If that's Karius or Mignolet, the whole place would have melted, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And I think this is like when he comes out and says stuff like this, it's like, oh, you don't know what to do with yourself now, do you?
Put everyone on edge.
I said to Neil before, my favourite bit, which he said was, I've noticed he's loved by all here. Oh. Not sure about that, mate.
Well, he might just mean internally. Maybe John's much loved behind the scenes, perhaps, and that's what's come out of this one. It's an absolutely load of fun. Next one that we've got is Tony Nunez interview with James Pearce. This is a belting interview, by the way. Well into the Echo, well into James for getting it. Nunez just says loads of interesting things about his life. It's a fascinating little career. It could have been you, couldn't it? Really, loads of great. Not the best player in the world. Worked hard, grafted, ended up on Real Madrid's books. Where did it all go wrong for you, Copey?
I think Nunez is living my sort of sliding doors life.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Copey's a tidy right back, by the way.
I wonder what he's up to now, though.
Well, so they've done the interview because he's just retired formally.
Okay.
So this is it. He's 39 and he's stopped playing professional football, and he's going to look into his business/law career.
Feels like someone I should be meeting.
He really should be. Should get in the diary. He says this, and it's dead interesting. Some players that step above the rest, they have something different from the rest. For example, the Galacticos, Zidane, Ronaldo. You could see something in them that was different. When I was here in Liverpool, I saw the same thing with Steven Gerrard. He was probably the most complete player I ever met. He did everything right. It's yet again this. I think the way footballers think about Gerrard is the most interesting thing about Gerrard. Yeah. That basically footballers don't just think he was a great player. They think he was, in many senses, almost like the greatest player they played with. They don't just think he was a good man. They talk of him as though he was the greatest man that they met. You know what I mean? The sheer, and a lot of this was, when Nunez was here, a lot of Gerrard's sort of presence in this was behind the scenes. He wasn't doing many interviews, but no matter what stage a lot of these players play with him, whether it's the age of 20 or the age of 30 or the age of 35, he's like this behemoth to other footballers, which I think just speaks volumes for what he is as a person.
Yeah, definitely. And it's mad with Gerrard, isn't it? Because I was guilty of this at times. I think because he was ours and we had him from when he broke through to when he finished, it was easy to take him for granted. And this happens to a lot of people in their careers, doesn't it? And it's not until you look back that you go, oh yeah, actually. and he was phenomenal. And this is why when we have conversations about current captains and midfielders especially, the comparison, even a sort of unconscious comparison to Gerrard, is just not fair. Because you're basically comparing people to one of the greatest ever players. When you've got people, and this happens all the time, so it's not, as you said, it's not just Liverpool players saying it. It's like he's up there with Galacticos. He could have played anywhere.
Yeah, my thing on Gerrard is, and I think it's becoming clearer and clearer now as the time passes, the year right now as we record this is 2018. Realistically, for the first 20 years of this century, Gerrard will be the best English player to have played the game. Yeah. For the first 20 years of this century, it will take someone putting an unbelievable run of form together in the next 18 months from nowhere to rival that. Gerrard is the best English player to have played the game, the best British Isles player to have played the game, and he could genuinely possibly be outside of Ronaldo, over that span, outside of Ronaldo and maybe Zidane, the best European player to have played the game across. It's not as clear cut for European player, but it definitely is for English player for me, and that is staggering. And it's something that when you are holding Gerrard to be compared with anyone, I'll include Naby Keita in this. Keita's took 8 and everyone said Keita's going to be the new Gerrard, and straight away I was like, God, that's an unbelievable amount of pressure to put on someone who's not kicked a ball for Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's funny, isn't it, because as you're saying that, the first thing I think of is this sort of never-ending, it pops up every now and then, the comparison between Gerrard, Lampard and Scholes.
Yeah.
And there's always this debate who was the better player, and I just don't hear this sort of stuff being said about the other two. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, they were both phenomenal footballers. Paul Scholes was incredible. Frank Lampard's a goal-scoring midfielder. Second to none. But they don't get spoken about by fellow pros in this way.
Yeah.
As you say about the whole thing, I've often thought about Gerrard and said about him that Gerrard's one of those players who, if you had him on a top trumps card, each one of his skills, he probably wouldn't be 10 out of 10 for anything, but he's 8 or 9 for everything.
Yeah.
And maybe it's character determination is 10, and that's what brings it all together. Everybody else had got really big strengths and then flaws in their game, but he was such an all-rounder, and that used to come out, and we used to say, didn't we, he's the best player in whatever position he played. I still say he's the best right back I've seen play for Liverpool in my life.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Definitely. Could play absolutely everywhere. Phenomenal footballer, and a man that we still probably even now don't appreciate enough. Listen, today Levi's have announced the expansion of the Levi's music project to Liverpool in partnership with Loyle Carner. We've had Loyle on the show. He's the absolute business. The studio's being built at the Lighthouse, and it's opening its doors to young musicians from the 15th of November for a 6-month project. It's culminating at Sound City, made up at Sound City, and involved the festival between the 3rd and the 5th of May, where the Levi's music project will be taking over its own venue to showcase original pieces created by the young artists through the project. Played that cool there, Copy. I think that they won't notice to join. Here's a short video about it.
We're live and direct from Liverpool right now. For the next 2-hour game.
One of my favourite places to be is Liverpool. For me, the spirit is welcoming. It's like, come in. It's like going back to your mate's house. I guess my connection with Liverpool was birthed out of rebellion. My dad was a United fan, and when I was growing up I kind of wanted to do everything that my dad didn't do. I felt like a bit of an outcast at school, and I wanted to, I don't know, just to have people listen to me. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to be heard. When you have talent, you don't necessarily have the means to hone it. It's more about teaching them how much they're worth. Make music, make art, rip things up, stick them back together in a different way. I think this is an exciting time to be young.
There's the Levi's thing there. Ramos has responded to Lovren. Lovren said to Copper 90, if you look, Ramos, he has many more mistakes than me. I like Varane, he deserves a lot of credit, he doesn't get it as much. Ramos gets it, I don't agree with that. It's fair to say that, you know, as a football club, there's 2 or 3 of our lads who've decided we're not letting this lie. And it feels like this has got to sort of end with a game against Real Madrid, ideally a second leg at Anfield where they're 2-1 ahead or something. And everything that needs to happen happens. Someone absolutely wallops Ramos early. Yeah. Salah gets a couple. It's all a bit in the balance, and then Ramos gets himself sent off the ground in absolute delight. And maybe, you know, Lovren goes over to him and has a little word on the way off. It appears to me this is what we're doing now. I'm not sure where to stand on it, but say what you like, it's entertainment.
Yeah, I'm surprised you went
For the
for
wrestling.
it. I'm surprised you didn't just go for a final.
Yeah.
Like we just have another final.
I think it always needs to be at Anfield. So
think
yeah,
just to make it-
I'm pre-match Ramos was saying things like, yeah, I'm not worried about the Anfield atmosphere.
It's the standard.
The standard, yeah, it's the old
paid by
term, and
numbers.
yeah, you know, it's,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all of our lads are saying, yeah, it's a one-off game. We're not focusing on one man. And then, you know, in the first like 60 seconds or something, there's 3 reducers lashed out by varying Liverpool players. Like Trent surges forward from right back and just goes bang.
Yeah. I think I mean, it sounds great. Can we make it happen?
Let's do everything we can to make it happen. I mean, Ramos gets the reply here. I've said it many times. I don't know if these things are said out of frustration or for any reasons. I'm not going to answer Lovren or whoever wants to win 3 front pages or start the news bulletin. He says this, which is always his trump card. Fair play to Ramos. He's always got it in his back pocket. Everyone wins things for himself on the pitch, i.e. my medals are on the table, mate.
Yeah.
And Sergio Ramos, fair play to him. He can always say, yeah, my medals are on the table, mate.
Of course you can. And I upset a lot of people after the final saying you'd have him in your team. Like I didn't really get the. You've got Liverpool fans who hate Ramos for what he did in the final, who also celebrated their own captain breaking someone's jaw with his fist on a pitch many years ago.
Yep.
Gerrard, I've seen crash into many players with elbows.
Michael Brown was reminded to me this week when he does Michael Brown off the ball a few seasons back, which was phenomenal, by the way. I mean, you'd have gone out off the back of it.
All incredible. We still all love the Dirk Kuyt one, don't we?
Yep.
In the derby. That is, when you see the still of that,
Yep.
you're like, naughty that day.
How did he not get sent off?
And we celebrate these things until Ramos does it, and then we are all up in arms about the morals of football. I have to say, I love Lovren with all this shit.
Yep.
I love, one of my favourite things about him is how close he is to Mo.
Yep.
Like it's like he's gone, the best way for me to keep myself at this club is to be best mates with the best player.
He's the best player.
He's the best player. I'll be best mates with him, and I won't just do it privately. I won't do any of this shit that Jordan Henderson does, where everyone's left to argue about him being a great captain behind the
shoulder,
scenes.
blah blah blah. No.
This is what social media was made for. I'm going to make it known that I'm best mates with Mo Salah, and he loves me, and I'm going to get him to make it clear that he loves me as well.
Every opportunity. That's
And it's
what
like I wouldn't be surprised to find out he's got a PR man. And his PR man went, well, we've got the Salah thing boxed. Now what you've got to do is you've got to go in 2-footed on the other fella.
Yeah, go after Ramos now, mate.
Yeah.
And Lovren's gone, no problem.
I love that.
I love
that. I think it's also worth saying, if someone could talk himself to Ballon d'Or, it would be Dejan Lovren, wouldn't it?
That'd be fantastic.
Like he's already declared himself a few months ago as
one of the best
defenders in the world, and now what he's doing is taking off the fellas ahead of him.
Yeah, one at a time. Like he's, fair to, he's giving Varane some credit there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He acknowledges that a fellow great like Varane. You know what I mean? Me and Varane were in the same conversation, aren't we? Yeah, that sounds. Don't worry about that. But this other fella taking all of my mate Varane's praise.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to start sending Instagram messages to Varane saying, "You want to get rid of that fella? He's a knobhead,
PR 101, isn't it?
Yeah,
like you can't just go at them.
Yeah.
You've got to show that you're magnanimous, you're the better man. You can say when people are good footballers.
Like Varane.
I mean, he's fantastic.
Yeah, that Real Madrid defence would be nothing without Varane. Sergio Ramos, well, he makes a lot of mistakes. That's your Talking Reds today. Tomorrow, we're hoping it's going to be John Gibbons and Paul Cope, and they're going to be taking your questions and answering them across the course of that. We do our AFQ show via the Tall Player on a Friday. We do AFQ football as well. So you were doing this little video taster of that. That's available for you tomorrow. Show's out, but tomorrow morning first thing, we'll have the Weekender for you. That'll be sitting there and ready to go. There'll be other stuff that's out today that's completely slipped my mind right now. This is what happens when I'm not doing the schedule anymore. Can't remember a thing. Thank you very much to Sean for filming this, to Paul. It's been your Talking Reds. Good Lord, it could have all gone better if we're honest.